Good evening, everybody, and welcome to part 2 of this 3-part series where we're covering babies from our bumps and birth of babies and beyond. So lots of B's. So tonight I'm joined by Bryony and Heidi. So I'm going to introduce you to Bryony, who is one of my dear, gorgeous friends, and she's here on screen, and you can see she is very well equipped to help us this evening because she has the perfect little helper in baby Bella, another B. And so new mum to 5-month-old baby Bella, but also Pilates teacher, massage therapist, a real passion for holistic healthcare, especially specialising in movement and how that can be incorporated with holistic healthcare. She's also a silver leader in doTERRA, so that's our essential oils, and she's the founder of Pay It Forward, which is all about spreading love and a message of good health across the planet. So over to you, Bryony.
Sorry, just unmuting myself. Bella's being a little bit vocal this morning, so she wants to be in on the fun. So if you see me mute myself, it's because she's having a bit too much fun. So I'm really happy to be here, and I'm also super happy to introduce Heidi to you. Heidi James is a clinical nurse. She's also a mum of 3, but she has a grad certificate in special care of the newborn, so she's super qualified for us to be here and drink up all of the information she's got for you. She's got 12 years of neonatal experience, so that's just like incredible. And to be honest, this is, it should be her webinar, because her passion really comes from, natural care and using essential oils on babies, because she really believes that this is where it all starts. She's also a silver leader in doTERRA. She's the founder of Enchanting Little Treasures, and she's doing Diamond Club at the moment, which basically means that she's travelling all over Oz, running workshops and spreading her love, spreading her knowledge all over the shop. So if you do want more info over in Oz, she's a great one to go to, run class for you and let you know more and more. Oh, you're happy now, Bear? That's good. So I'll hand you over to Heidi.
Thank you, and thanks, Bri. My name's Heidi James, and I'm very excited to be here also. So I'm going to introduce the lovely Alison Bartolo. She is the founder, and her husband are the founders of Healthy Munchkins. It's a community of over 1,000 wellness advocates sharing their journey to wellness, which I am privileged to be one of. She is the wellbeing. Loves wellbeing education. She is constantly running classes. We've seen a lot of mention of Alison's success in Diamond Club last year for her booking classes from classes. I can totally understand why she was absolutely exhausted by the end of it, and I've only gone through 1 month. So she definitely runs an amazing workshop if anyone in Brisbane can get to one of them. In fact, we've got one tomorrow night if you're interested. She's a diamond leader in doTERRA and is just amazing at what she does. And I am very privileged to actually be able to sprout some of her knowledge. She's very passionate about food, nutrition and gut health, and her raw foods workshops and also her emotional workshops are just wonderful to be at, and just such a great knowledge base if you're starting to want to know about essential oils into your home. But I'm very excited to be here with both Bri and Alison, and we will get started.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, Heidi. That's so lovely. So yeah, we're really excited tonight. We're just going to give you a tiny snapshot. So we're all mums, so we've all been or going through this amazing stage, but it does come with its challenges, and we're just going to touch on some of the key ones. So we can't cover all the parenting challenges of having a baby today, but we just thought we would highlight the main ones. So we're going to cover sleep, because that's just kind of a no-brainer that everyone wants to know. How do you help and support your baby through sleep and your own rest as well? We're going to go through a bit of tummy pain. We're going to just touch on a little bit of chemical awareness and how easy it is to make things like your own hand sanitizer and keep that immunity up around the home and protect your baby. And we're going to show you how easy it is to make things like baby wipe and hand sanitizer, and we'll touch on teething as well. So we do actually very lucky that Melanie Sparks from greenbuds.com.au has donated some all natural teething toys, or not sure if you call them toys, but yeah, absolutely beautiful. So for anyone here live on the call, please do stay on at the end after we've finished, stop recording, and we will be giving that as a giveaway. So please stay with us. So I'm actually going to hand you straight back to Heidi, who's going to guide us through some of the sleep.
So as Alison said, sleep is so important, and you don't get very much of it after you have had a baby. In fact, it really is, it starts in the last trimester, just as your body starts to prepare for the birth of your baby. It's getting up and down in the middle of the night because your bladder's full and you need to go to the toilet. It's actually just gently teaching your body to go up and down, awake, sleep, awake, sleep. I swore that I would totally be able to handle all-night feeds because I was a shift worker when I had my first baby. And I've got to tell you, I had it slapped in the face because nothing prepares you for being able to go down to sleep for 5 minutes, it feels like, and then jump back up again to settle and soothe the baby. And kicking in your postnatal hormones are just crazy. They make you happy, they make you sad, all in 1 second. But that is just part and parcel of the joys of becoming a mum. So one of the ones that is really important that I talk to a lot of my mums about when they've first had their babies is just starting a routine. Now, we know that babies come and are born and they know nothing about routine, and we know nothing about supporting them either, especially as a first-time mum. You've got a little bit more knowledge when it's second time round, but we're all kind of running blind when it comes to your first baby because you just don't know what they're going to throw at you, and nor do you know how your body's going to handle all of that. So I think it's really important just to start having a think about before your baby's born, and also after your baby's born, just about settling into a little routine. Now, that's not, okay, I'm going to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and I'm going to go to bed at 6 o'clock at night. That's just starting something that you're going to continuously follow through. So if that's starting with a bath, and then that moves on to a massage, which is absolutely beautiful for a baby, and we can see that even just using lavender and fractionated coconut oil or aroma touch, diluted onto the baby, being able to touch them and soothe them and calm them, starts off your nightly routine with just a beautiful calming sensation. It's also really good for you to be able to enjoy. It will settle your hormones as well if you're tired. Just being able to spend that time touching your baby is really good for both yourself and them. Being able to then move on to a gentle feed, and how you feed your baby is completely your choice, but taking the time to be in a dull room, like a dull lit room, no technology. That's not what we're here for. We're here to enjoy our beautiful babies, sitting in a rocker, sitting in a recliner, sitting on something that makes you comfortable, because if you're comfortable, so too will your baby be. Turning on some music if that's the way you want to go. The same music every single night will allow your baby to realise that this is the start of building a routine. Dimming the lights, like I said, and sticking with a very similar time, and just knowing that the babies will just build their circadian rhythm to yours. And so we also want to support the babies with essential oils. Now, we know that lavender is absolutely a beautiful one to start with, but in my sleep blend that I have with my babies, I call them my babies, they're not babies anymore. I have, I can't really see it very well, vetiver, lavender peace, cedarwood, juniper berry, and Roman chamomile. And they get sprayed that on their feet, down the back of their spine, and over their chest and their neck, and then they have their choice of oils in their diffusers. But when you're talking about a brand new baby, they don't know how to make those choices. So sticking with things like Easy Air and lavender peace into your diffuser, but having a beautiful massage and some sleep oils on your baby will just start building that routine. And if you do that every single night, you will see that your baby just settles in to where they're supposed to be, and that's snuggled up into their little bed. Certainly, as you're feeding your baby and you're massaging and you're cuddling your baby, and please don't feel like it's the worst thing to cuddle your baby to sleep. It's actually really beautiful. I cuddled my firstborn to sleep for 12 months. Granted, by about 12 months, I was about ready to finish. But for certainly that first 12 months, I really enjoyed that time that we had together. That was at the end of our very busy days. And they are busy from day one. They're not easy. And so we were able just to sit and relax. And it's a really nice time that after you've put the oils on, just to get into breathing in sync together, putting them either skin to skin. And we know that babies respond exceptionally well to skin, and that's not just on a mother, that's on a father or a close relative as well. We know that babies that are put to skin immediately start to build that bond with their parents or their carer. And then once they've had that settle down time and they're about sleep, we can see that the best way for a baby to sleep is actually following SIDS guidelines, which is on their back with their feet at the bottom of the cot, but being swaddled also. They have a startle reflex, and that startle reflex can certainly wake them up. So having them swaddled, and only just usually one layer on top of what you've got on, really just gets them into that rightful sleeping state, and then they just drift off. And I got lucky with all of my 3 babies. They were amazing sleepers. I do wish I had oils. I think that would have made it even better. But combining everything together is certainly going to make sleep in your household a lot easier for you and your newborn. And also being able to build that circadian rhythm straight away. Now, cedarwood is an absolutely beautiful oil, and we are so lucky at the moment while we're running this webinar that we have BOGO going this week. Cedarwood is actually on for the Australian market today. So if you were to buy Arbor Vitae, you would get a whole bottle of 15 mils of cedarwood for free, which just astounds me because they are absolutely beautiful oils. In fact, Arbor Vitae is a great oil for mosquito repellent. So, and what do we not want on our children and our babies is mosquitoes. So you can benefit from both of those gorgeous oils today. We know that in the UK, if you're watching from the UK, that the UK BOGO is buy piece and get balance for free. And as Australians buying in Australia, by being able to buy in the US yesterday, we were able to snap up that great deal as well. Piece is a beautiful one to use on babies, newborns, children. We remember that with babies, our dilution rate is 1 drop to 10 mils, and we always dilute for newborns. We want to just make sure that they are getting gently used to the essential oils because their skin is so sensitive and so absorbent as well. In the US today, BOGO is Aroma Touch and Marjoram. Now, Aroma Touch can be diluted and used in your baby massage as part of your nightly routine. So we just picked the right day today to talk about oils and sleep and massage, and BOGO's going on. So who wouldn't want it to be an amazing deal today? So I'm going to stop talking because I can talk underwater, and I'm going to pass you on back to Bri, who's going to talk to us about some tummy pains, which all babies get.
That is a great phrase, I can talk underwater. Yeah, same here, I can do that too. But yeah, how lucky are we with BOGOs? It's literally like we've planned it. We haven't. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about tummy pain. And like Heidi, I'm super, super lucky with Bella in that she's a really touchwood good sleeper. She's actually asleep at the moment, even when we're chatting away. But the thing that, definitely my favourite oil with Bella since she's been born, so she's 5 months now, has been the relief of tummy pain. So I use the digestive blend from doTERRA, which is DigestZen, and you can imagine it's got all the things that are good for digestion, things like ginger, things like aniseed, things like fennel, all blended in there for you. And as Heidi said, super, super diluted, for the little one. So 1 drop to 10 mils. What I've got here is actually an old doTERRA bottle. It's actually a lemon. I would tend to use DigestZen if I'd had one, obviously, so that I know, but it's got my DigestZen label on it, so I don't know. And in there, I've got 1 drop of the oil filled up with the fractionated coconut oil. And that's got a spray top on, and I can just spray that on her tummy. And I promise you, it sounds like an absolute myth, But when I did it for the first time, even I catch myself 2 years on after using these oils, I'd catch myself going, did that really just work? Because I counted the second time and it was 20 seconds. And she went from this red face, screaming, stiff little ball of angry to having a big poo within 20 seconds, and she went back to smiling, happy, laughy Bella. And yeah, if I don't, you know, if I only had one for Bella, it would be that one, because it's just incredible. But please don't make me only pick one. There are lots of other things you can do to help with tummy pain or tummy discomfort in little ones. I found that baby massage was great for tummies. It was something, like I said, when she was younger, she'd suffer from it in the night as well when she woke up, and you know, just a little bit of kind of massaging into her tummy, whether I was using the oil or not, was really helpful for her. And then also, you know, I say this with caution because I think there's a lot of things for new mums to think about anyway, but having a slight awareness of maybe what you're eating, you know, don't beat yourself up. Don't be like, oh, I must have done that to her, but just maybe noticing any patterns. Does she tend to have a bit of a sore tummy if I've had, you know, the same kind of foods, you know, and obviously babies can have sensitivities to things as well. Like if you've moved on to formula, you know, be aware that there might be some sensitivities in certain types of formula, you know, just have an awareness of it. But again, you've got lots and lots to think about. So this doesn't come with a message of, oh, what have you eaten to make your baby have a bad tummy, you know, because sometimes they just do have a bad tummy. It's as simple as that, you know. But as long as you're armed with a little bit of massage and a little bit of you know, essential oil digestive blend, then you'd be good to roll, I would say. So I think I'm going to hand over to Alison, who's going to talk to you about the next bit.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for that, Bryony. So yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about sort of synthetic chemical awareness, because I think it really took me having children to wake up to what sort of culture we're living in. So when I found out that actually they've done tests on newborn baby umbilical cord blood, and a standard baby and an average baby is born with over 252 synthetic chemicals in their bloodstream on the day that they're born. This sort of highlights what we're surrounded with. So, you know, the products that we're putting on our bodies, the makeup, the hair, the colouring, the chemicals that are in our food, like it can feel really overwhelming when you first sort of wake up to that. But it is kind of good to have an awareness of it, but without feeling that overwhelm again. So it can be a really tricky place. And obviously we want our children to be protected. We want them to have as minimal toxins in their body so that when they do get, say, exposed to some sort of environmental threat, they're just more able to cope with it. So I just want to share with you a little app that I use that has made my life so much easier. And it's called the Chemical Maze, and it costs about $7. So I'm not sure what the equivalent would be in the UK. But it just has, it just looks like this, the Chemical Maze, and it has a little like yellow heart as its logo. And because I just found even some natural things, even like essential oils, or, you know, I think banana skin, if you actually look up the chemical constituents of that, like it looks really long and big scary names, and it's really hard to know what's good and what's not. So this app has been fantastic for me, because you can literally write things in, say, one of the things that I'm really conscious of is triclosan. So triclosan is in a lot of hand sanitizers. So when we're trying to think, oh, I want to protect my baby, I want to do the right thing and make sure it's all really hygienic, and I'm going to make everybody who comes in use a hand sanitizer. If your hand sanitizer has triclosan in it, well, that ingredient is actually banned in Europe. Like it's not even allowed there, but it's still allowed in the US and here in Australia. So here we can actually type that in. So if I type in triclosan, let's hope I've spelt that right. Yeah, we can see it comes up with a red, sad face. So this is really great because it has both cosmetic and food ingredients. And if we're walking around the shop and there's like a little yogurt if you're in the UK, and it's like a Disney princess one, and the kid's like, oh, I want that, mummy, I want that, mummy. Well, we can look at the ingredients together, type them into the app, and when it comes up with a big red scary face, or even a little red scary face, then the children themselves choose, actually, I don't want that. Whereas if it has a nice green happy face, they don't need to know all the chemicals to understand what's okay and what's not. And they're choosing then what they're putting in their body. So with triclosan, we can just click on it and it will give us some information about it. So it's actually derived from petroleum. Its functions are a preservative or deodorant, so for the smell factor. It's skin, eye and lung irritation. It has suspected skin, sense, organ and immunotoxicity. It has environmental and wildlife toxicity. It can have allergic reactions. It may be contaminated with chloroform and dioxin. So its symptoms are you can have allergic or hypersensitive reactions. And possible uses are in deodorant, liquid hand soap, facial cleansers, toothpaste as well, dishwashing liquid. So it just gives you a really quick snapshot and overview. So, you know, this is not to scare you because it is really overwhelming when you come into contact with things, but having a really simple app like this to really help you start to really understand what's okay and what's not. And I still don't know. I still use the app all the time and I try and remember, and I still know I've looked up things again and again, and I just, you know, it's okay to refer to that. So those hand sanitizers are pretty nasty, and triclosan is something we really do want to avoid, even though it's pretty much on the entry to every hospital ward in this country. Heidi's nodding. So in terms of, you know, supporting us with that immunity, there's some beautiful natural things that we can do to support that. So number one, without even any products, just being a gatekeeper and putting your boundaries in place. And if somebody is unwell but wants to see your baby, then you can say no. It is okay to say no. You can protect your baby just by keeping people away. And that can be really, really hard, but you can use your oils to emotionally support you. So clove is the oil of boundaries. On Guard is the protective blend, and it has clove in that, and that's going to offer you like an emotional barrier and that power to say no. But also On Guard itself is a beautiful blend that will actually help support you, protect you against our environmental threats. So it's got wild orange, cinnamon, eucalyptus, rosemary and clove. Now clove is the world's most powerful antioxidant. So if you know what antioxidants are, they are what fight free radicals. So free radicals are the cells in our body that start to disrupt our wellness. So they cause instability in you, and they are what starts us on that spiral to being unwell. So if something's high in antioxidants, it will actually stabilize those free radicals. So what we want is things that are powerful in that. So we know clove is really powerful. We know things like blueberries and anything that's rich and dark in color, like even your red wine and blueberries are high in antioxidants. Just need to make sure everyone knows that. But things like your beetroot and your dark green kale and just really rich, vibrant foods. So blueberries actually measure 2,400 on the ORAC scale, which is how antioxidant-y something is. Pomegranates actually measure higher, they're 3,000. So these are all foods that we know are really high in antioxidants. Now clove, it's literally in a world of its own. It measures on this ORAC scale 1,078,500. So there is nothing that comes close to clove in this power to stabilize free radicals. The next highest thing on the planet is myrrh, which is another one of our oils, and it's about half that, about 500,000. So clove is one of the oils in this blend, and it's one of the reasons why it's so effective at stopping things in its tracks and just protecting both us and our babies. So I love to have this in the diffuser when there's anyone coming around, because you don't necessarily want to be coating everyone that comes into your house with essential oils, because you might look a little bit crazy if they don't know about them yet. But if you put it in the diffuser, it will actually eliminate airborne pathogens. So it's a really great one to have in the diffuser. But I personally would, dilute it. We always want to dilute them really heavily, and this does have hot oils in it like cinnamon and clove. So it's really important that we're using no more than 1 drop of this to 10 milliliters of a carrier oil. And you can place this on the feet or on the spine. You might not want to do this on a newborn. You might prefer to wait a few months until you feel comfortable, but that's just up to you and what feels right for you. But we can actually use this to make things like our own hand sanitizers are really powerful, really effective, but also really safe and natural and not adding to that toxic load in the body. So I'm actually going to pass you over to Heidi, who's going to do a bit of a demo of how to make a hand sanitizer. So over to you, Heidi.
So I used this. We just travelled overseas last year, and I was the On Guard do-it-yourself queen. So just like Bryony, I reuse all of my bottles. I never ever throw a bottle out because it's 50 cents to buy a spray. And if you're really lucky, some of the little companies that are around, they do this serum pump, and it's perfect for an On Guard hand sanitizer. And I have to say that my OCD kicks in and I can't even put anything but On Guard back into the same bottle. So if you're a little bit lazy, you can actually, from the US, order their hand sanitizing mist. Well, I can't remember off the top of my head. You can, they're about $7 or something.
Yeah,
US
six US, super cheap, and they'll release it here in Australia within a month, and in the UK probably in May.
Yeah, very exciting. Although I just buy them for the bottles, and so that means that I've got lots and lots of them around, and so they're really easy. But literally, we were just talking before, made my own. Now I make it in a gravy jug because I can. So all I use is 5 tablespoons of aloe vera gel. Quite honestly, I never really kind of took any notice of aloe vera gel, but once I started using doTERRA, I actually went into the chemist and had a look at all of the ones, and they've all got fillers in them. So Alison put me onto this beautiful company called Aloe Vera Jelly. It's from Forever Living. And you can actually get it also in an aloe vera drink, which is kind of like a big jug. And it makes for a more watery kind of sanitizer. So it's going to come out of your spray bottle a lot easier. It doesn't matter which one you use if you use it in the pump serum, because it kind of pumps it straight out. So we did 5 tablespoons of aloe vera gel, 4 tablespoons of filtered water, a quarter of a teaspoon of vitamin E. And I just picked up this one, Leonardi Vitamin E, just as long as it's a 100% natural vitamin E oil. And then actually I put 12 in just because I could, but 12 drops of On Guard, because I actually am addicted to the smell. So if it's strong, I don't care. And then I got my little gravy jug, poured it all in there, got myself a little whisk, made it up. And then this is the tricky part. You kind of just have to pour it in there. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. I'm going to end up pouring it all over my computer screen. I just know it. But it's absolutely so easy. It takes less than 5 minutes. It's like making up the bench spray. You just line your bottles up, and when your kids get older, you can teach them how to do this. And then it just literally comes. Let's see if I can get a good. All done. And, you know, my biggest thing is, just like Alison talked about before, I must wash my hands hundreds of times a day. In fact, we've all kind of joked in my ward to say we need those not quicker steps, but actually like how many times you wash your hands, like you click every time you wash your hands. But my hospital uses triclosan in our hand washes, and ever since starting with doTERRA, I have realised I often wondered, oh, it's winter and my hands are red. My arms are red raw. It must be because it's cold, it's dry, and it's just winter. But it's actually the triclosan. As your skin gets drier in winter, triclosan just sets off a huge we just get red rashes down our arms. And so people move on to Physohex, which is just as bad. But I always keep On Guard in my pocket, so that when I'm on break, I use all of my oils, and then I support myself with lavender and tea tree and frankincense as a moisturizer, and with fractionated coconut oil. And depending on how I go, I just will use the Spa range as well, because it's absolutely beautiful and I can put whatever oil I want in there. So I have many, many, many of these lying around. I don't find that they break, but other people have said that they do, but I have just chucked them in my bag. So completely, probably about 12 months ago, threw out all of my hand sanitizers that I had from the chemist and just made up a big batch. And I'm very protective of my reusable On Guard bottles. They are certainly not one that I give away. If people are saying I need spare bottles, I say, you get away from my On Guard. I'll be the same with my little bottles as well once they're empty. But I've got so many of them, they're not empty yet. So there we go.
I do want to totally agree with you, Heidi, that I get a bit OCD as well, and I couldn't believe that the one I had to show was one that didn't have the right one in the bottle. Why would I have that one? Anyway, never mind. Okay, so I'm going to move on to talk to you about baby wipes. So first of all, again, like Alison says, I just want to reiterate, don't be scared, don't feel overwhelmed. You just have to remember that there are these things out there, and we're here to kind of help you to open your mind to them, not to scare the life out of you. And just remember that when Bella was first born, I was a bit scared to look into baby wipes because I was like, I don't know that I can do the DIY baby wipe. Am I going to have the time? And I don't want to be wiping her bum with anything else. You could always use cotton wool and water, and that is absolutely fine. But once I show you this demo of how easy it's going to be to make your own baby wipes, you're honestly going to go, I can't believe I didn't do that from the start. And that is exactly what I thought. And I just wish that I'd kind of looked into it beforehand. So I'm not here to scare the life out of you. You can use baby wipes. I use a site called the Environmental Working Group, which is great. You can go on and you can they'll give you kind of, happy to sad face levels of which baby wipes to lean you towards, because again, there are ingredients in baby wipes that, we wouldn't want near us, which absolutely blows my mind. Like, I wouldn't want them near me, so why am I going to put them on my newborn? The only one I'm going to talk to you about today, because I have got a list in front of me of like 7, but the one I'm going to talk to you today about is called benzyl alcohol. So benzyl alcohol, there is a natural version and a more synthetic version as well, and of course in mass produced things, companies are going to keep their costs down by taking the cheaper synthetic version. And in the cheaper synthetic version, they include something called benzyl chloride, and that's the real danger especially to young children. It can lead to immune responses, and a lot of these will show up on their skin, like itching, burning, scaling, hives, blisters even. Prolonged exposure can even go down the route of redness and pain. Anywhere near eyes, it might cause eye irritation, and it's even gone down the route of linking to things like dermatitis as well. The other thing that came up for me when I researched it was the toxicity to your liver and your central nervous system. So these are big players, not only skin, which, don't discount it, it's the biggest organ in your body, but your liver, your central nervous system. These are not things you want to be messing about with tiny little bubbers in front of you. So don't be freaked out. I'm going to show you how easy it is to make your own baby wipes. All I have here is a Tupperware container. And I promise you that this was the hardest thing for me to source. To source the size of Tupperware container, I ummed and ahed for a while. Just use one, doesn't matter. Okay, in here you can see already I've put it in to make for ease. I've got 2 cups of warm water. So I would use filtered water, or I'd boil it and let it cool, so it's warm, stick that in, 2 cups of that. Then I'm going to add to that, whether you can see or not, I'm adding doTERRA's. I'm using doTERRA's fractionated coconut oil, and I'm using 2 tablespoons of that. So you can't see me popping that in, but that's what I'm doing right now. 2 tablespoons of that. And this is great for me because you cannot have too many baby wipes. When you think that you've got loads, making up another batch is always a good thing. Then to that, it's really, really easy. I'm going to add my 2 drops of each of these. These are your Power 3 oils. When you have babies, when you have kiddies, these are the oils you're going to want. So here you can see that's Melaleuca. So that's your tea tree, sourced in Australia. Woohoo. And I'm going to go 2 drops of this. So tea tree is really good for cleansing. I use it in quite a lot of my cleaning products around as well. It's antifungal, antiseptic, so it's a really good cleanser. So in there you can see, I promise it's not going on the computer, it's going in the box. 2 drops of your Melaleuca. Then next one I'm coming up with is lavender. So Power 3 again. Tea tree, lavender. Lavender is great for skin, so it's going to be really nourishing for Bubba. It's great for your hands as well, obviously, because you're the one using the baby wipes. But it's calming, and I promise you, I know it sounds crazy, but when I use my baby wipes on Bella, she can go around from being a wiggling, thriving around thrashing around on her change mat, and as soon as I get the baby wipes out, she goes, oh. And that makes it a lot easier to change her, I promise you. So again, 2 drops, whether you can see that going in, 2 drops of the lavender. And then last one I'm using is frankincense. So here you go, king of oils. What frankincense is great for, you know, there's not enough time in the day to talk about, but immune boosting, it's great for skin, it's great for development of systems within their body, so nervous system, brain system, blood system. I put frankincense on Bella every single day, and I don't mean in baby wipes, I mean diluted and on her feet. But the other thing that frankincense does is it acts like a magnifier for those other oils, so it's a great one to pull them all together and to kind of really make them work as a team. So yeah, can't have too much frankincense in your life. 2 drops of them going in. So that was 2, so easy to remember, 2 cups of warm water, 2 tablespoons of fractionated coconut oil, and then 2 drops of each of frankincense, tea tree and lavender. And then I'll be honest with you, this is the trickiest bit. I've already pre-prepared, a bit like Blue Peter. This is a what do you call it, kitchen roll, kitchen towel. Is that what you call it in Australia? Paper roll, you know, and I've cut it in half. So it looks a bit messy. Don't worry about that. Look at the other end. Look how neat it looks at this one. You want a serrated knife to do it. Even better if you've got like an electric knife. I don't have one of those, but I'm tempted to buy one just because this is the only bit that's a bit faffy. But the great thing is that this is, when you do one, you have one ready for the next time, so the next time's even easier. And literally all I do is I poke that into the box. And this is why you can imagine I faffed around with the size of the box. It's great if you've got one of those stand-up boxes, but it doesn't really matter. Mine goes in, I poke it in, and then you're going to see, I just move this, I'm going to put the lid on top, squish it in. Oh, ideally you want an airtight one because you want it to be nice and tight so that when you do, don't wake up Bella, when you do this, it's going to soak up that mixture at the bottom, whether you can see it or not. And I'm just going to spin it over, and I promise you we should have done this demo first, I was thinking. It usually take about 5 minutes to soak it all the way through, and then all that happens is that the inside cardboard tube is wet, so you're able just to stand it up and pull it out. And then every time I use them, I just stand the thing up in the box, pull out another bit of the kitchen roll, and you're good to roll. And there you go. It's literally as simple as that. And like I said, the next one's even easier because I won't have to cut the roll in half, which is by far the faffiest bit. So from here on in, don't be scared for baby wipes. There are obviously varieties out there that are more natural, and just lean towards a more natural one. I'll be honest with you, I'm coming over to Oz and there's definitely going to be some bought baby wipes. Over here we have ones called water wipes. I don't know if you have them over there, but they're 99% water and 1% fruit juice, and it's the fruit juice that acts as or the fruit extract, I should say, that acts as the cleaning product. So, you know, even if I don't bring my homemade ones for the plane, which you could do, you could find some kind of little plastic container where you could put them into, smaller one, you know, but all I'm saying to you is that think about it this way: every time you use your own baby wipe and you replace one of the more synthetic versions, you're doing a great job. You're doing a great job at that point, you know, even just if you do it once. So there you go. Right, so I'm going to stop talking underwater.
Thanks so much for that, Brian. I love that demo. Looks so easy. I wish I had known about all this when my little ones were little. So I'm going to talk a little bit about teething. And anyone that has had a baby knows that this can be something that keeps babies up at night. Things can make them really truly grumpy and bring out inner soul from them, because let's face it, it's not very nice. I've had toothache as an adult, and it's one of the most uncomfortable things you can have. So we just really want to soothe and support the babies, again, just with as little as toxins as possible. So you can use your app to have a look at things and really just get yourself educated and know what you're putting in. So there's lots of things that you can buy, little teething toys and things, but again, you just want to make sure that you're buying things that are, say, BPA free, phthalate free. So phthalate is something, it's spelled PHTHALATES, and it's in a lot of soft plastics, and it is actually really quite nasty for our body. So we want to make sure we're definitely avoiding those, and also PVC. So again, be conscious, and there's lots of natural baby little toys that you can buy. So we have very beautifully we've got some demoed here from our lovely Melanie Sparks from greenbubs.com.au. So that's green, B-U-B-Z, .com.au. Now these are beautiful maple wood with some nice little soft toy on the end as well there. So all organic and beautiful, safe, nothing toxic in there, and some natural rubber. So these are really grippy and great for the kids to hold. Now, it just depends on the age of the baby. Some babies' teeth come through really quickly and some take much longer. So mine generally were a bit older, and I could get little things like little nets that you could put frozen grapes into and they could chew on. But if your baby's younger and not eating yet, then you might just want to use the toys and those sorts of things. So just use whatever you feel comfortable with. So you can buy amber necklaces as well. Some people say they work, some people say they don't. So it's just a matter of a bit of trial and error. The only caution with that is obviously putting things around your baby's neck. You just want to be super cautious that it's completely safe. So I know people wrap it around their baby's ankles instead. Now, in terms of oils, this is where my only tail end part of oil usage I was able to use in babyhood. So our youngest son, he was around 9 months old when his teeth were coming through, and that was around the time we were discovering the oils. So I do have some experience with this, and we used Roman chamomile, and I just can't speak more highly of it. So he was obviously in a lot of pain, and we used some Roman chamomile diluted in a safe ingestible carrier oil, so very, very mildly diluted. I actually used macadamia oil. Obviously you need to know about nut sensitivities in your home as well, but you could use olive oil or something. And I just actually rubbed it heavily diluted, so 1 drop in 10 ml along inside his gum, and instantly he would go from screaming, raging to completely calm. I would just feed him and he would just be completely fine when he wasn't able to be consoled at another time or otherwise. Now, it literally happened to us at the airport once, where he was in a sling attached to me and going completely mental as we were about to board a 30-hour flight from the UK to Australia, and we couldn't even check in. I had to walk away from Anthony putting with the girls and the luggage and everything, because he was just screaming and trying to almost shake himself out of the sling. And I thought, how are we going to get through 30 hours of this? And I just thought, he just isn't like this. The only other times he's been like this is when we've had those teething things and we've used those oils. So I got out my little mini keychain and had some little Roman chamomile in there, and I was with my mum, and I was like, Mum, just get it out of the pocket, like get it on him. And he wouldn't let me put it in his mouth. He's like, no. So we literally just put it diluted on his feet, and within 10 seconds maybe, he just completely calmed and was just quiet and just snuggled into me and just went sort of limp on my chest, and we just couldn't believe it. And we boarded 30 hours worth of flying without any drama whatsoever. So for me, I feel like this is a miracle oil. It doesn't work for everyone. Like, it's one of those things that you need to find what's right for you. I've shared it with a lot of teething mums, and the vast majority of them, they've had fantastic experiences. Some people have just had a great experience like that with lavender. Clove is another one that you can use. So I used it straight on the gum because that's what I thought was best. But actually, I know a lot of people actually just use it along the jawline on the outside. So if you're not comfortable with internal usage of the oils, especially with a baby, then that's, it's still going to penetrate through and get to where it needs to go. So you might want to use a roller bottle like this. This is a 10 ml roller bottle. You just put 1 drop in there and you can literally just roll it along the jawline. So yeah, the great ones to use really would be Roman chamomile, the clove or the lavender. You can add some frankincense in there. It's always brilliant to add frankincense in, just as Bryony was saying. So I think the only other thing we're going to talk about is that the mums can actually wear teething necklaces as well that the babies can chew on. So that's another alternative. You just want to again make sure that it's they're synthetic free. If they're designed to be a teething necklace, then you'd hope, but you can still check that they are fine for that. But I know Bryony was saying that they can attract your hair once they've been wet, so you just need to keep those hygienically clean, and you could use your On Guard and that sort of thing. So I think that's it. For those of you here live on the call, like I said, we're going to do a giveaway and give you these teething toys for anyone who's here. So please stay on after we stop recording. For those of you who are watching the recording, then thank you for joining us and following up with us. If you've got any questions, please reach out. If anyone doesn't have essential oils in your life yet, then please reach out to either Bryony, Heidi, myself, or to the person who introduced you. So it may be somebody completely different. Please go back to them and let them help you, and they'll support you with your oil journey as well. But we hope we've shared some great information with you today, and that it helps you through this really magical period. Next, the final part of the series is into beyond. So we're looking into toddlerhood, which I reckon hands down is the most challenging. So I'm looking forward to sharing some tips with you. I'm sure the others are too, and I don't think Bryony knows what she's in for. So thank you again.
In the notes.
So thank you all again for joining us, and yeah, have a happy rest of your night. Bye.
Bye.